We've got some huge news today that we think will be helpful to anyone even thinking about residential cruising and living on a cruise ship.
We're constantly being asked for a go-to guide on residential cruising, and we looked around and couldn't find one, so we wrote it ourselves.
We've been living aboard the Villa Vie Odyssey for quite some time now, and we have learned a lot. Everything about choosing a cabin to live in, to decorating that cabin, to living in a small space. And we do all of this against a lot of traveling. I mean, we're going to a different port every few days and immersing ourselves into all of these different cultures.
Yeah, we know so much more than we did when we started this thing. In the beginning, we agonized over this decision. It was weeks, months.
It was months. It took quite a while just going through all of the different facts and doing all of the research.
Yeah, trying to figure it out. And we were doing this without a lot of information, which is kind of why we're here today. And then, as we thought about things, we kind of made that decision. And then once we got on board, our first month, we were winging it. I mean, we were figuring stuff out for sure.
Yeah, it took several weeks to really get our bearings about how we should approach things. Now, there probably was a few resources on the ship that we could have gone to, but we didn't know to go to those things. So we had to really figure it out on our own at first until we really got our feet planted.
Yeah, which is probably okay because we needed to kind of figure things out. But anything from health insurance to cell phones to Amazon, right?
Right. Just how do you get your stuff delivered from land? We had to figure that out. And, we had a video on that. A lot of it was kind of fun because we were unboxing some of the things we had delivered. But figuring out how to do that was a challenge.
And then we had the challenge of, me getting really sick. And
that was in Santiago, Chile.
Yeah, which was crazy. And we learned a lot there about being prepared in healthcare. So those are just examples. But, we're smarter in terms of our experience. But the other thing we've done is we've learned from other people, other residents on the ship.
Yeah, we're all in it together on the ship. And there is a great community of folks. And everyone is so willing to share their experiences with each other. And then, at the end of a port day, we get together and we talk about what we experience, both the good and the bad.
Yeah, and we're all figuring it out together. And of course, there's a lot of different perspectives, a lot of different expertise. And then we also get a lot of questions from the community here that have prompted us to think about and figure other things out as well.
Absolutely. You guys ask some incredible questions, and it really gets us thinking and problem solving. And then once we kind of figure out an approach, it really solidifies for us how we're going to approach that in the future.
So all of that and more means we have amassed a lot of information that we want to share. We started thinking with all the experience we had, the research we had done, what we've learned from our fellow residents, the questions that you've asked us that we've explored and kind of figured out on our own. Why couldn't it be us that put together the ultimate guide to residential cruising?
But honestly, that felt like such an immense project. It seemed almost impossible. So the way we approached it was we put together a series of questions that really helped us ask, okay, how would we approach something like that? So the first thing we asked ourselves was, how could we tackle such a complex topic that covers everything from the emotional commitment that's necessary for this to all of the financial implications that are involved?
And we stepped back and said, okay, well, that's going to take a lot. And so we've spent weeks and weeks and hours putting this together, culminating in, I think, 16 chapters, 175 pages.
And 4 appendices.
4 appendices. And they're not just appendices. These are like active questions and referrals and information and things that help you do things, not just read things. And so I think that is kind of the culmination of all that work. And I think it's pretty good.
The next question was how to structure it logically so it would be genuinely useful for someone at any stage of their decision-making process.
Yeah. If you think about this, it you go from not even knowing what residential cruising is to learning about it all the way through you're on board and you've transitioned into this lifestyle and you're worrying about things back home or not, depending on what you've done. So in between those two kind of bookends are a lot of steps and a lot of phases. And we've designed this to where you can kind of insert and apply this for anywhere you particularly are. If you're on the very beginning, somewhere in the middle, or if you're already on here and doing it.
Now, a major consideration we also had was ensuring that we presented a balanced view, highlighting not just all of the incredible, great things that are involved in residential cruising, but also all of the challenges that are involved. And there are a few.
There are, like anything. So we really pride ourselves on trying to be balanced and forthright. And so, we tell you best we can all the things to think about and the raw truths that are just out there that you're going to have to be dealing with. I think, not only on Villa Vie, but any residential experience.
We wrestled with how to incorporate not just our own personal experiences, but also the broader landscape of different residential cruise lines, because there's more than just Villa Vie out there. We wanted to make it a really comprehensive resource for you.
Yeah, we have really tried to rise up above Villa Vie specifically, although that's the experience we draw on. Think about all the things that are out there. Not only think about where it is now, but think about where it's going. Yeah, and give you ideas, give you information, give you questions, give you a few predictions and a lot of tools about how you navigate that. If you're on Villa Vie or if you're on something else, it's going to be applicable to you and your situation.
Therefore, after a whole lot of work, a lot of late nights, and many, many, many revisions, we are thrilled to announce the publication of a Hidden Gems Guide to Residential Cruising. This is it, everything we know and everything we wish we had known from the beginning, all in one concise place.
This is a book that we have put our heart and soul into, and we're so excited to share it with you. This is not just about our journey. This is really geared to take you through the process, to empower you and help you assess and make a decision on if residential cruising is good for you. We're very excited to share it with you, and we really believe it can help you demystify this whole thing and feel confident as you take this discussion on with yourself and those that you care about. If you're interested in purchasing the book, the link is in the description.
So what do you think? Is a guide to residential cruising something that you could use in your own life? Let us know in the comments.